for the first time in a long time, I am very mad at Shawn Michaels for what he did on NXT. I am very unhappy. I'm very unhappy, and you know why. Not happy about what I saw on NXT. I don't want to see these things. I don't need these scenes in my head. Let's talk about NXT June 25th, 2024. Let's get right into it. Nothing in the terms of news and notes. We was giving NXT so much credit for its growth, you know, and and then they went and did something like this. Anyway, Ava starts the show. She's got security because she wants security to be, you know, and the referees to be made aware. There's just been a lot of chaos around NXT. There's been people popping in from TNA, people popping in from Raw and SmackDown. She wants to make sure it's all safe. She failed to do so because in the very first match, somebody from SmackDown popped in, Apollo Crews. So it's a tag team turmoil match, which is not my favorite match. I hate the tag team turmoil. The number one contender for the tag team titles, it was won by Chase University, but I had to watch a lot of the small foot European guys with the Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne, as they beat Idris and No Fan Malik Blade, and then they beat Angelo and Umberto with a little help from Apollo Crews, who distracted them. They also beat the Good Brothers before losing to Chase U in the finals. Not a very babyface thing to occur with, you know, Ridge Holland doing a little dirty work. Just a little dirty work to took a hit for Chase U. They were celebrating like they're actually the champions now later in the show. But Duke Hudson and Ridge Holland, they got eyes on each other. They watching each other closely. They're watching each other very closely. Ridge Holland also had a run-in with Pete Dunne, who was like, "Hey, oi, I thought you were going on your own. Why are you wearing that shirt?" It's like, because I want to be a part of Chase U, bitch. Why are you on a tag team? You're supposed to be on your own. Next, the girls' locker room was all a tizzy because Carmen Petrovich, who is seemingly a real shit stirrer back there in that locker room, is watching video of Roxanne Perez get knocked out by Lola Vice. She then puts over Lola Vice, and Roxanne Perez, of course, heard this, got into her face, confronted her. They started having issues, and a match was booked later. Carmen Petrovich versus Roxanne Perez. The match was short. Roxanne Perez wins clearly because she's the champion, and champions should win. Lola Vice, however, was on commentary, and she yelled something at Roxanne Perez, and Booker T was like, "Oh yeah, what that mean?" It was in Spanish, so he didn't understand it, but he was co-signing it. Apparently, she told Roxanne Perez to eat shit in Spanish, which was hilarious. After the match, Lola Vice got into the ring with Roxanne Perez, gave her a spinning back fist, knocked her clean out, and then took her championship and took it to Ava and said, "When the champ wakes up, tell her I want a title shot." I like that. That was very ballsy. Roxanne Perez, of course, spazzed out when she awoke, and then I guess the title match was made. I don't remember. I believe it did. I don't see why it wouldn't be. Ethan Page had a promo later, talked about pinning Javon Evans and how he never lost that battle royal. Turns out that Shawn Spears, oh no, let's just get down to the nitty gritty of this. Everybody, they jumped Trick Williams because Trick Williams dissed Ethan Page and he dissed Shawn Spears. He even pitched the idea of having fight both of them at Heatwave. They decided to jump him, and then Javon Evans had to make the save. But the match was already made for Trick Williams to wrestle Ethan Page in the main event. And I can't believe I have to say this out loud, but Shawn Spears beat Trick Williams. I want to quit watching NXT. I was on the verge of quitting. Now, it wasn't clean, but it wasn't enough. I think in order for Trick Williams to lose to Shawn Spears, it shouldn't happen. But, like, he should be on Earth, and it should collide with Mars, and then Shawn Spears steals the pin. That's, like, the only way you can can justify it in my head is if like either, you know, two planets have collided and Trick Williams just happens to not be able to get up, or if he fell from space flat on his back and couldn't move for at least 3 seconds, then Shawn Spears can win. Otherwise, there's no reason for Shawn Spears to ever beat Trick Williams in a match. So what they did is they had Brooks Jensen, who's been the wild child. They even did something interesting with his girlfriend, where his girlfriend, you know, put out this sort of Instagram or tweet or whatever, saying that she couldn't find him. She didn't know where he was. She even used his real name, Benjamin or something like that. And some people got offended because, well, this is just a wrestling angle. You shouldn't do this for a wrestling angle. There might be really missing people out there. People might think this is real. So she started apologizing. Oh, I didn't think people were going to take it that seriously. I'm so sorry. Blah. I'm like, oh, if you guys don't fuck off. Please fuck off. Oh, that's so terrible. That's awful, bro. All she was doing was trying to work the gimmick that this guy is a loose cannon and he's losing it and nobody knows where he is. But he keeps popping up in NXT, so clearly he still works there. But it's part of the gimmick that, you know, she's concerned about him and he's, you know, disappearing or whatever. Anyway, he shows up here. He kind of gets carried out by security, but he grabs the desk, the announce desk. Similar to what he did last week and 2 weeks ago. This time when he picked up the plank from atop the announce desk, it hit Trick Williams in the head. Distracted him, and then Shawn Spears won the match. So afterwards, the fatal 4-way was made. Javon Evans, young OG, won't get his title shot one-on-one. That's unfortunate. Now we're saddled with Ethan Page and Shawn Spears. I thought Shawn. Look, man, Shawn Michaels having an off night. I know that he's been cooking lately, but he had an off night when he came up with this idea. He's definitely having an off night when he came up with this one. This was a mistake. Huge mistake. Moving on very quickly. Wesley defeated Joe Coffey. Fairly clean. Good. Obafemi says that Wesley has secured a one-on-one match with him. Good. That's excellent. Wesley, Obafemi one-on-one, that's your main event. Put Trick Williams on the third match or second match or pre-show, so I won't have to watch Shawn Spears. I hate to do that to you, Trick, but Jesus Christ. I can't deal with no Shawn Spears in the main event. He's not a main event talent. He ain't main event caliber. Anyway, Obafemi rules. Stevie Turner and Mr. Stone, Robert Stone, it seems that they're going to both be competing to see which one of them can become Ava's assistant. They're trying to see who can snow her globe even better about, oh, I helped her do this and this. Oh, well, I helped her do this and that. And what a disaster that was. I forgot that in the tag team turmoil thing that OTM came out there and it was an issue with the Good Brothers. So they had a backstage fight where OTM and the Good Brothers got into a fight, and they're going to have a street fight next week between Jada Parker and Mia Yim. That ought to be fun. That ought to be real fun. I'm not sure about Mia Yim, but okay, at least they're further in that story. So she's not left in the dust, Miss Jada Parker. Now, I actually enjoyed a Heritage Cup Championship match, believe it or not. Tony D'Angelo defeated Nathan Frazer in 6 rounds. This match went longer than I thought it would be, but it was actually fast-paced because that's what Nathan Frazer's style is. And when they set it up, it's set up very well. And the story going into the match is that Axiom is becoming quite distressed at Nathan Frazer's independence, his desire to take all these singles matches. He's not happy that he wanted to wrestle for a singles title. So he wasn't sure, Nathan Frazer wasn't sure that Axiom was going to be in his corner. So he actually asked Dante Chen to be in his corner. But Axiom showed up for him, cornered for him, and that was great. The first round was actually won in 40 seconds as Nathan Frazer ran circles around Tony D'Angelo and rolled him up. That was great. The second round, Tony D'Angelo got a spine buster for a win. Got a couple of draws in there, third round, fourth round, fifth round before round 6. And Tony D'Angelo hits another spine buster, which was probably like the 8th spine buster in the match total, and won in round 6. So it was probably my favorite Heritage Cup match since the NXT UK days. You know, they were good there. They've been mediocre to terrible here, but this one's been pretty good. And Axiom afterwards was like, okay, you wrestled for the Heritage Cup and you lost. You got that single stuff out of your system, right? And Nathan Fraser was like, oh yeah, absolutely. Right after I get done with this speed match I got coming up. And Axiom was like, what? You got a speed match coming up? So they're teasing that these two guys are going to come at odds, with Nathan Fraser still wanting to be a singles act and do things on his own, and Axiom wants for him to focus on the tag team. So it's a pretty good schism to have when it comes to these characters. Noam Dar, he was on speakerphone, and he was talking about how well he's doing and yada yada yada. And Oro Mensah cuts his backstory about his father being in a fire and being burned up, and him and his brother having to try to find ways to live and coming to the United States and all this stuff. It was very touchy, very heartwarming. Booker T choked up at it, so it was very nice. I thought it was cool to finally get a peek behind the curtain of Oro Mensah. Finally tell us what he's about. He talked about being made fun of for talking differently, and with the accent and everything. And he's not going to be able to stop until he gets his revenge on Ethan Page. Okay, I think I might be kind of interested in Oro Mensah. Maybe we can get rid of this pink hair. We might be doing something. Let's just get rid of the pink hair first, okay? Next, Tavion Heights defeated Damon Kemp. So Tavion Heights will be a member of the No Quarter Catch crew. I like Tavion Heights. I don't mind Damon Kemp. I don't hate him, but I like Tavion Heights. He's like he got a future. Ariana Grace was defeated by Sol Ruca. So Sol Ruca is now the #1 contender for the Women's North American title. So that's fun. Kalani Jordan versus Sol Ruca ought to be a pretty good spot fest. In the middle of that's going to be a very choreographed match. I can tell you that right now. Ariana Grace, she tweeted out a video of her dad wrestling Sakuraba in Japan, and at the Josh Barnett Bloodsport event. That was cool. Like, Santino has a legitimate judo background. I don't know how he ended up being the guy with the cobra and all that kind of stuff, but like, he's a legit grappler, and he's actually not bad. He hung with Sakuraba, who is a legend in Japan. So that was fun. Nice. Next, Izzy Dame told Brinley Reese that Idris Enofe and Malik Blade didn't want her around. This was a tough promo. This is very tough. And of course, she finally stopped smiling. She looked legitimately hurt, legitimately injured by the verbal tirade of Izzy Dame. And of course, Idris Enofe and Malik Blade are like, "Oh no, that's not true. It's not true. We like you a lot. We like having you around. Absolutely." Yeah. We'll see. So JC Jane, Fallon Henley, and Jasmine Nix. Well, JC Jane and Fallon Henley, they're very upset at the new girls that they're getting opportunities that Fallon Henley and Jasmine or JC Jane are not. Jasmine Nix is one of the new girls, but I guess she's kind of grandmothered in to their bitterness. I guess we're still waiting for Fallon Henley to, take that North American belt, because I can see it in her future. Unless they're going to do something completely different with her, like a tag team title or something. But JC Jane and Jasmine Nix are out to cause nothing but trouble. So that ought to be fun. Because the Heritage Cup match was so long, and because the tag team turmoil match was so long, that's pretty much the entirety of the show. It was still a lot of matches, still 7 matches. But this was, it was terrible solely for the reason that Shawn Spears was on the show and won over somebody I actually liked. But if I take that cartoonishly stupid part out of the show, it's still merely okay. I didn't hate it. It was interesting. Now Apollo Crews is back in NXT. Okay. I mean, he's continuing his story with Legado del Fantasma because that shit that got dropped from SmackDown. I'm okay with it. I'm surprised Apollo Crews still had a job, to be quite honest. So my brother is gainfully employed. So hopefully he finds something that works and he can get over. So I'm okay with this. But let me know what you guys think. Like, share, subscribe. I'll talk to you guys later, man. Peace.